The Euros are starting soon and excitement is building. Fans worldwide are gearing up to support their favourite teams. Who are you supporting? Let us know in the comments. It's 12:30 in the afternoon here and I'm Liz Jones, Managing Director of People to People UK and your host of P2P UK Live. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram and X, so don't forget to follow us. And on today's show, we're going to take a look at the stat of the week. We'll take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, Australia and New Zealand. Are you guilty of sending a few emojis in the workplace? This week, we're going to take a look back at a discussion between Queensland Managing Director Ben Wheeler and Head of HR Solutions Suhini Wijayasinghe to discuss if it is acceptable to send emojis in the workplace. And then we'll take a look at the social media poll results. But first, let's take a look at the stat of the week. So taking a look at an article shared by Talent International titled Engaging Emerging Talent to Build a Future-Ready Workforce. So on the 23rd of May this year, industry innovators were brought together to discuss the importance of meeting tomorrow's talent at the Emerging Talent Summit in London. Strategies for engaging and retaining tomorrow's leaders. Some key takeaways were emerging talent early is essential with fewer young people entering the labour force. Optimising talent acquisition processes is required to meet the changing expectations of applications, particularly Gen Z and Alpha. The role of AI plays a crucial role in enhancing accessibility and streamlining processes, but it must be balanced with a human touch. And authenticity in talent acquisition remains paramount for Gen Zers and Alpha to find genuine connections with potential employers. And that is it for the stat of the week. It's time to take a look at some hot jobs in the UK, and we are looking for an IP paralegal in London, southeast London, paying £33,000 to £38,000. Your responsibilities will include managing the life cycle of multiple cases, including trademarks and patents, ensuring compliance with legal requirements, also conducting legal research and preparing documents for e-discovery and supporting case management. We really need somebody who has experience in litigation, intellectual property matters, and the ability to handle a large number of files and meet deadlines. This role is being looked after by Alia Shipos, and you can contact her on the contact details on the screen right now. The next role we have is for a real estate senior associate, and this is based in Manchester, paying £80,000 to £120,000. Responsibilities will include working on a broad range of real estate matters, including grant funding, infrastructure and regeneration projects, developing client relationships and offering advice across various legal issues. We really need somebody who has a minimum of 5 years PQE and experience in real estate, strong client relationship skills and proactive legal advisory capabilities. This role is being looked after by Ben Trainer, and you can contact him on the contact details on the screen now. Taking a look across the border or across the other side of the world, in Australia and New Zealand, we're looking for a customer administrator in Murray, Queensland, this looks like a temporary position, paying $34 to $35 per hour. A senior HR officer in Brisbane, Queensland, paying $90,000 to $100,000 per year. And a legal secretary in Auckland, paying $70,000 to $80,000 per year. If you want to know any more about these positions or apply, please scan the barcode on screen now.
Right, let's talk emojis. Welcome, Suhini.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So emojis in the workplace. So there's getting quite a bit of media traction at the moment. So we know that it is certainly increasing. In fact, over 75% of people use them at work. And from what I could see, just doing some Googling earlier, there are over 180 emojis. I am definitely the least qualified person to talk about emojis, but as I said earlier, I think you are seen as something of becoming an expert in this field. So firstly, wanted to ask you, why do you think it's becoming more prevalent? Why is it hitting the headlines now?
Well, it's interesting that you said that I'm an expert, and I'm an expert not necessarily because of my role at work, but probably because of my generation as a millennial. We are avid users of the emoji. We excessively use the crying laughter face. It's just part of our genetic makeup at this point. And I think as we've gotten into, I suppose, have a wider spread in the workforce, and particularly with Gen Z coming in strong after us, we are so predisposed to using emojis in the workplace that it's just become another method of communication.
Yeah, I think I've definitely seen how it's sort of almost crept up, and even with the uses we do with Teams, and you see the number of emojis, and for the first time ever I click
the reactions.
Yeah, the reactions that come up, and then I click the other button, I could see, oh my God, there's all these other ones, and it could be quite confusing. Now we have a sort of standard, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, that you have the thumbs up, you have the heart, but do you think that using the heart emoji sometimes can be inappropriate? Is there a right and wrong time to do it? And is that what's sort of confusing people and maybe causing some issues around communication?
Look, I think there can be some confusion, but I think it essentially boils down to knowing your audience. I think there's three main rules that you need to follow when you're using emojis in the workplace. The first one would be less is more. Don't overload your communications with emojis. I think, a light touch is always appreciated, and you have less chance of it being misconstrued. Second rule, formal emails, documentation, no-go zone. I think that's the safest approach. You're not going to, make the mistake of accidentally trivializing something that's important or significant in your career or in the workplace. And lastly, just knowing your audience, as you mentioned, it is, we've had an evolution of communication, whether it's, from email to instant messaging or phone calls to text, using casual words within emails like oops, for example. We've all embraced that. We've all been able to work around it. And I think over time, we've been able to sort of adjust going, right, who's my target audience? Are they going to receive this appropriately? Obviously, baby boomers may not necessarily be as accepting of a love heart emoji in communication as, say, for example, a Gen Z. But then, of course, we've got the issue where, depending on which generation you're from, the smiley face can be deemed very friendly or passive aggressive. So I think tread lightly when you're first starting off in a workplace, but as you get to know people, you're going to get more comfortable.
Right. Highly contextual. Yeah,
yes.
Really depends on the scene. And I do have a few emojis that I was hoping you could translate for me, so we're going to bring some up on the screen and just see
I'm
what
ready.
you say, what does it mean, and when might it be used. So just bring it up here.
Shock, horror.
Shock, horror. Right.
Yeah.
I think it was
something big news has happened.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Glad you clarified that. Next one.
We're definitely going with thinking, although there is something to be said where I do know that Gen Z can use this ironically, where they are implying someone who's definitely not capable of thinking. So it can go either way.
Yeah. Or I thought it might be confused as well. So it just shows, that, you get one of these into so many different interpretations of it. Keen to see what you think of the last one.
Okay, well, this one, I don't know whether I would ever use it in the workplace. I don't think I've ever come across that in my conversations.
Right.
That being said, it is a highly popular emoji. And to be honest, despite the fact that although most people believe it is a poop emoji, it is in fact supposed to be an ice cream. Well, that's how it started.
Is that right? Well, there you
go.
That's
right.
I didn't think ice cream. Yeah,
it started off as a very innocent emoji, and then, of course, it became something a little less. So,
yeah, can see how that could easily be seen. So, thanks very much for your insights. I'm sure we'll be talking about this a little bit more as it seems to be gaining some momentum.
It's time to take a look at the social media poll results. So last week we had, how often do you use emojis in work-related communication? And 32.2% of you have said, yes, you do. I have been guilty of using a few emojis. But if you want to get involved in this week's poll, it's, have you ever misinterpreted or sent an inappropriate emoji by accident at work before? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Let us know. That's it for P2P Live this week. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you all next week, 12:30 Friday.